Good morning and welcome to Friday Live. And of course, we're live from Gotta do it. Weather in Oklahoma has been phenomenal lately. Clear blue skies, low humidity. Uh, we'll get a day of rain about once a week, once every week and a half. Um, it's just been fantastic. Um, that said, as soon as I sign off from this live stream in about an hour, I am heading to Dallas to judge a koi show at the Dallas Marketplace, some aqua aquarium type event going on there that will include the local club's uh, koi show, and which that club, Dallas Koikichi Group, I just happen to have been one of the founding members some 25 or 24 years ago. So it'll be great to get back to that. Um, got a lot going on today. I am by myself, at least till for the first half hour. Lynn still has a commitment. He's got a couple more weeks before he returns. And C&EI John is out gallivanting, floating around the Caribbean this week. You may recall he was in Florida last week. And I got a phone call, but it will wait. And but I do have a lot to cover. And the person calling me won't quit, but it'll wait. Uh, I do have a lot to cover. Um, and I've got a couple Workbench Wednesdays coming up. One will be on, well, about a month or two ago, we had a discussion going on and how I wanted to make a dummy SW1500 or SW1, um, which is easy to do, but I wanted to have lights and sound in it. And that part has been the challenge. We got talking about it, and Lynn said, well, I got a bunch of those switchers, and he says, I'll send them to you. And then John said he needed some handrails. So the next thing I know, I get a box from Lynn with three different switchers. One box was an SW1500. Ta-da! And this is the frame I had. And the problem with it was the plastic wheel sets, the pockets that they sit in. Where did the little booger go? Oh, there it is. The pockets it sits in. I can put metal wheels on it. Okay? That's not a problem. But the pockets that the axles sit in, all right, on a powered truck. Okay, got it up. On a powered truck, this little piece right there, all right, that the knob of the end of the axle sits in, on a power truck, it is brass. and it conducts electricity. On these dummy trucks, they're plastic. So you cannot use these dummy trucks in an effort to make up a semi-powered unit, all right, which it was kind of a bummer. But when Lynn sent me all this one that he sent actually had the trucks that were the type that would be powered. All right, in other words, they had the brass inserts. And so I just switched frames since John only needs the handrails. Off of this, I just switched the frames, and so that I could modify and get a powered or semi-powered dummy. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope so. So this one is going to John. Now the other two switchers both were powered. They're both Baldwin VO 1000s, and one was an Athearn Blue Box, and the other, I don't know if it's Athearn or something else, because the frame is a little bit different. With the fuel tanks being metal weights, whereas the fuel tanks on the standard Blue Box, like this, all right, are plastic. Now, they both had decoders in them, but one of the motors is such that it had like over an amp draw to it, which is not good because it ends up popping decoders, and which is fine because I wanted to turn it into a dummy VO. I was going to turn one of the VO 1000s into a powered unit and one into a dummy. So that's what I have been working on. I do have one of the two dummy projects done, and it's a dummy SW15, and maybe I'll run it in a little bit. Okay. So those are what the projects are. But here's the kicker. Two things. If you take two of these SW or VO 1000 frames and you put them back to back and they're wired up, even if they're powered, they'll create, and you have metal couplers with the metal clip, Athearn clips, you'll short out because of the way the power pickups are. You're picking up on the engineer side. Well, when you go back to back, the engineer side's opposite. So you're picking up the opposite polarities. So the frames are opposite polarity because the frames conduct electricity. And boom, you have a dead short and can possibly pop a decoder. And John, Mr. Mystic's already lost. And he just hopes I have the story has a happy ending. Let me rephrase that. All right. So anyway, let me go back. Let's do roll call, and I'll try to clarify all this. All right. JD was first. He popped in almost as soon as I opened up the stream, and followed by Hot Dog Pilot Andy, who popped in about an hour and a half before. Mr. Lynn McCurdy popped in at 9:30 my time, which was about an hour before. Tammy and Ray popped in at 10, about 30 minutes before. And Joe Rader at 1023, and Andy also at 1023. Mystic John, or John number 7, was at 1029. He hit it just beforehand, along with the Model Train Insider, Mr. Anthony Dodge. And anybody else? Anybody else? That's it for now. Okay. So, bottom line, I felt like a dunce because I had 2 issues that were causing me all kinds of grief. Did you know if you try to program one of these Digitrax decoders, and I would presume it'd be the same for others, that it has to have a load, power load on it for it to program? And what I'm talking about there is, remember my projects that I talked about are dummies, so they don't have motors in them. Well, unbeknownst to me, when I put these decoders in and I took off the orange and gray leads, which go from the decoder to the motor, took those off because there's no motor. Wouldn't program. Programming track and JMRI would not recognize anything. There was no locomotive to recognize. I had my meter out, and I checked the power from the track to the power pickups on the trucks to the actual pins on the decoder. Okay, the red and black pins that lead to the trucks on the decoder. Everything was fine. So the decoder was getting the power necessary, but JMRI Decoder Pro would not recognize it. And it had to have a load. And I fussed with this and fussed with this and fussed with this. And keep in mind, I'm working on 2 of these projects, identical projects, different shells at the same time. And it was just driving me absolute. Well, thank you, Andy. That would have been a handy tidbit to realize before I went through all the grief I've been going through this week. And I finally had that hunch, and I got on the Digitrax user groups on the internet, and so I asked a question. I explained everything in intimate detail because I didn't want people coming back, well, try this or try that. That's already been covered. All right. I wanted somebody to tell me if it needed to have a load. If it had to have a load, then I knew what the problem was. So a guy said, try wiring in a motor and see if it all works. And if it does, then put a resistor in. So I did that. And lo and behold, it worked. And I got it, the first one done and programmed, and everything was hunky-dory. So I went to the next one. And I figured, well, hell, I'll just skip that part about wiring in the motor and just put the resistor in like I finished the other project. Back to the same old problem. All right. Stupid question. Could I what, Joe? Put a resistor in. Yes. So I put a resistor in. On the first one, I programmed it when it was wired to the motor. Got it all programmed, ready to go. Undid it, put a resistor in line, way to go. Okay. I set the speed table so that it just barely went up. You have to have it go up or it won't notch. Okay. So I tried that too, and I didn't like it. So I had it go up a little bit, maybe 10%, and it notches fine. The notching sound. Okay. So undid the motor, put the resistor in, everything works hunky-dory. So I went to the next one. And I said, well, I'll skip that section with the motor and just put the resistor in line. Nope. Wouldn't program, wouldn't recognize the locomotive. And then I'm thinking, okay, I must have a bad chip. So I got another old one out. Nope, wouldn't recognize it. I'm going, son of a gun. And hang on, I will come back to the story in a second. Hello, Lynn.
Hey, I thought I'd give you a little something different this morning. We're still on the shuttle here. We haven't made it to our first stop, almost.
And of course, you are in. Couldn't forget to do that. All right.
I thought about tuning in sooner, but the ride on the shuttle is a little
bumpy,
little rough at times. But anyway, hey, I got to share with you if I can talk.
Yeah.
I was watching Dave with Crooked River yesterday. Excuse me. And they were talking about model cars and errors and all like that. And I got a wild idea. I already have the Back to the Future DeLorean and my little steam engine. You've seen several videos of it.
Yep.
And on the club layout, we have a tribute to OJ where he's in the white Bronco being pulled over by the CHP.
Yep.
So I did some searching on eBay yesterday, and I found a 1955 Peterbilt gasoline tanker, an HO scale. And I found a early 70s, couldn't find a Valiant, but I found a Dodge Lancer, which is very close to it. And you want to take a wild guess what I'm going to try to... We got a real big bump coming up here, so hang on. Got a great driver. She does.
Oh, JD says the dual.
Yes, that is it. So I will be taking pictures. Oh, we had somebody decided not to stop there. That's all right. Here's our big bump. Yeah. Everybody going through. But yeah. I'm going to try to do a recreation of Duel. The canyon we just drove up getting here is the actual film site for where they did the movie. And if you remember one scene where he stopped at the train tracks and the SP's coming along and the truck is trying to push him into the train, that's very close to where I'm at right now. So
JD and Joe say you need a Dennis Weaver too.
I know, that would be nice. We'll work on that. Might come up with that. I would take pictures out the windows, but they have graphics on the windows, which makes it kind of hazy, so it's a little hard to take pictures. There's all kinds of stuff I could be taking pictures of. But,
no problem.
Anyways, we're here at our first stop. We're going to pick up a few people, those that want to take a restroom break, which we don't recommend because everybody's got to be there with a full bladder. But and they're chuckling because they know what I'm talking about. You get down there, if you don't have a full bladder, you get scolded, and then you got to go sit in the naughty room and drink lots of water. But, now I got everybody chuckling on the. I've got my water right here.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. We're on live YouTube. You want to be on YouTube? Hi. This is Sonia. Hi.
Hi, Sonia.
How are you?
We're wonderful.
I wish I could say the same.
We got some great people on the shuttle here. We've become like family. I mean, Sonia is a leader. When she gets through, when she gets through, I don't know what we're gonna do. We need a. She says I get to be the leader. That's going to be dangerous. We got Ed over here. Ed is great. He keeps us in line here. So, anyway, I'm going to sign off. I know you got your live.
All right.
How do you feel this
Good for you to pop in. I'm just telling them my saga of working on those switchers you gave me.
Oh, cool, cool. I've been catching your
I have another
your
one
plays, but
today.
sometime in the afternoon and things like that.
It
So,
was my
All right, Lynn.
brother's
You be
anyway,
safe.
have a good time.
So
See y'all later.
and
All right.
then
Bye.
His mom's birthday last night.
All right. So, getting back to my story, where was I? Do I need to start over again? Is this going to be a Heath morning or what? So anyway, I undid the motor and put the resistor in. Well, I take it back. On the second one, I skipped the motor part and just put a resistor in. And JMRI Decoder Pro wouldn't recognize the locomotive. I'm going, son of a... And you can imagine my delight in that result. So after trials and tribulation, I went ahead and took the resistor offline, but wired in the motor. And lo and behold, JMRI Decoder Pro recognized it. And so I was able to program that chip, take the motor leads off, put the resistor back on, and it's good to go. The moral of the story is to program the chip, you have to have not just a resistor, you have to have the motor load, which Andy was so astute to point out it's for the back EMF, all right, to be recognized, I guess. I don't even understand what back EMF is. If it's not polarity or continuity or load, I don't, anyway. So anyway, the second one, the chip is wired in, programmed, sound coming out. I do not have the lights wired up yet. And I will have eventually, the first one that I finish is an SW. Now I'm working on the second one, dummy, and the other powered one, Linset, which runs like a top. All right, I've stripped. They were both Southern Pacific, two different color schemes of Southern Pacific, the black, the bloody nose version, and then a black with orange stripes version. So I've stripped those down and I've painted those up in Burlington Blackbird scheme, and the decals are set to arrive today. If they don't get lost in the mail like so much of my other stuff. Yeah, but it's a dummy, so I won't have momentum, Andy. Anyway, it's working. But that was the moral of the story, was you got to have a motor load wired in to program the decoder. Then once you have the decoder program, put a resistor in line, and everything works. Okay. And then, of course, the other issue was the frames. These frames, as I think I already pointed out, had these metal frames would have the metal extended out like that, the frame metal. See that? And with a metal coupler and a metal clip, and the polarity from comes up through the frame would cause a short when you flipped the engines back to back or nose to nose, either one. So I Dremeled, cut those off each end, put a coupler pockets on them, plasticated pockets, rebuilt up. These. Built up, but used some styrene to build up the shell in here. So to get it to the right height, and glued the styrene together. But then, as a final calculation, I used screws, all right, to anchor the coupler pockets so that the little snap-in piece on top doesn't pop off and the coupler go fly in. And such a pain in the butt. Almost any decoder, Heath. Now, how you get around? I mean, I'm using Digitrax, little cheapo Digitrax ones, but I would presume you'd have to. Same applies to all about having a load, a motor load on it. So, and I could have probably gotten a stationary decoder and popped in there, but then I wouldn't have diesel sounds. I could have lighting functions, but not diesel sounds. So I really wanted the diesel sounds too, coming out of both locomotives. And like I said, I'll do a run by here in a minute and show that. So with that, let's take a look at some of the stuff I got. Yesterday I was out and about. I had to go NCE. I thought you liked Loc Sound. ESU. I know you're trying to get that debate going. I don't care. I have a wide range of decoders. My Rapido locomotives have ESUs, and I have recently been installing soundtracks. They both sound great. Yeah, I know you are. I like the soundtracks for one reason only. I can program them easier using Jamri Decoder Pro. You can't do all that or do everything on an ESU decoder. So, hey, John Schuylkill River Valley. Welcome. That's John number 2. So anyway, I stopped by yesterday. I had to go bottle. Didn't have to go bottle. Yesterday I was bottling booze at my friend's distillery and are helping out there. And so it's like 2 blocks away from our hobby shop here in town. So I stopped by and picked up a couple PX 108 power extenders or Keep Alives. Keep Alive, Stay Alive, power extender, whatever you want to call them, power packs. And so that I could round out what I need to do the 2. I got 2 E8 P2K Pro 2000s locomotives, new old stock that I've never put decoders in. I've had them for like 5 years out in the shed. So I did get from I got 2 of those. I did get from Iron Planet Hobbies. Da, 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 2 Soundtrax TSU 2200s with EMD diesels. These have the dual 567C diesels that were in the Burlington E8s. So I couple that with what I received last week, which are the Scale Sound speakers for that same project. And with the 2 power extenders, I now have everything I need to do for those E8s. All right. So I can start on those once I finish these VO 1000 projects. Oh yes. Speaking of which, all right. Every day is John's birthday. There you go. All right. So what else did I get? What else did I get? If that wasn't enough, right? What's in? I got something. Oh yeah. I've used the blue painter's tape to mask off stuff. And I've never been real happy with like bleed through effects and everything. And I saw where Boomer one time was talking that the only tape he'll use for masking is the Tamiya. All right, so I got a 3-pack of Tamiya masking tape, and it came with a dispenser. So that's what I was able to use to do all the masking off of these VO 1000s. So I got those this week as well. And yes, I got into the package early so I could get some out so that I could use it. All right. What else did I get? Well, I got these 2 packages. There's certain things that when I see them, I buy them because they can be hard to find. And one of those are metal wheels for locomotives. And where the hell are they? So I picked up some steel wheels. All right. Now these are the ones without the brass without the brass whatever they are. All right. This is the type that goes in SWs. All right. Then you have another type. Brass. What are they called, guys? Yes. A lot. I do swap out metal wheels on locomotives. And the reason being, a lot of the old blue boxes, all right, have nickel wheels. And the steel wheels are better. They conduct electricity better. They don't get dirty as often. Bushing, that's what I was looking for. That's the word. So I got both styles. One with bushings. The one with bushings is typically what you'd find in all your GPs, your SDs, your EF units, etc. The ones without bushings, because the power is transmitted through the tips of the axle, is what goes in SWs. So I've got extras of those now. Hey, Dave. Welcome. All right. Now, what else I get? What else? You know, it's been since January that I've gotten a shipment from Caboose Stop. So last Friday, I talked to Keith at Caboose Stop Hobbies. And he says, well, Steve, you don't have that much. I said, well, but it's been since January. And he says, well, that doesn't matter. I said, no, go ahead and ship it. So he shipped what they had, which wasn't much. And one of the items is this Athearn Blue Box Heavyweight Combine. Burlington, of course. And what is neat about it, and it's heavy. Now, I haven't checked to see if it's got people in it. I don't know if it has lights or not. I don't see any pickups, so I'm doubting it has any lights. It doesn't. But what's interesting about these, you know, I have one train that has the heavyweight cars because my era that I model is late 50s, early 60s. And the Black Hawk, which was the overnight train between Chicago and Minneapolis, St. Paul. And I use heavyweight cars on that train. But the commuter trains, the bi-level commuter trains, which you see me run all the time, the original E-units had steam generators, but they could only really supply enough added electricity for up to two, I think it was up to two bi-level cars, more standard cars, but up to two bi-levels. And so what they had to do was they did generator cars. And they took the old combines and baggage cars and would put generators in them. So they had electricity to power these bi-level commuter cars. Eventually, Bud, the manufacturer of the bi-level commuter cars, started adding generators on each car. Hey, Floyd! And so that's all the problems. But that really, I don't think, was until after the E9 came out, which they yanked out the steam generators out of the E-units and added in head-in power generators. So anyway, I haven't seen, and I've looked at this thing, and it does not. Well, someone may have custom done this. If they did a really good job. So I was excited to pick this up. In addition, I'm kind of like Heath in that, I need another boxcar, like I need a hole in the head. But I saw this one, and it wasn't a car number that I had, so I picked this one up. All right. And then, what else is in here? One of the, I think for $1, I got a snowplow. I've got 2 or 3 of these that I need to actually put on probably my SD 45s. Then in here, I got a bus. $5. And I got an El Camino. No. Yeah, it's an El Camino. And you can never have enough taxis. So I got a taxi. And then I got some people. They look like railroad workers. And I don't remember bidding on any of these. But I remember the bus. I think I remember the bus and the taxi. Anytime I see a taxi, I bid on it. Because if you drive, my layout, eventually, the racetrack, includes part of downtown Chicago, Union Station. My name badge for, huh? You mean that? No, that's so everybody knows what I am. Yeah. And I can take it off and look and say, oh, that's what I am. Okay. So anyway, that's what I got. And that's all I got. It was the cheapest. Oh, the box car sticker. Oh, Dave, I don't know if you've ever, on Mondays at 7:30 and Wednesdays at 6:45, 7 o'clock, Caboose Stop Hobbies, which is out of Cedar Falls, Iowa. Little old lady and her husband and another guy who I found out was at Iowa State, same time I was, and was a friend of one of my fraternity brothers. But anyway, that's here nor there. They do a show. They sell a lot of new old stock. They sell a lot of estate sale stuff. And you can pick things up really cheap. Joe Rader's on there all the time too. It's fun. I don't think they would ship to Canada though. So, but yeah, what they do is if you're interested in something, they'll say, okay, this is item number 48. So you put down 48. They'll tell you what the price is. And in this case, it was $15. It was probably less than, it's $10. $10. And you just bid on whoever puts in the number first gets the item for that amount. So you're not really bidding against other people. It's just who's the fastest to get to it. And it's just a lot of fun. And Carol is the only way I can describe Caboose Stop Hobbies is that it's a business. Yeah, Joe says you need fast fingers. It's a business still practicing in the 1960s. All right. And you get some of the small town, and Cedar Falls is not a small town, but you get some of the rural areas of Iowa, that's just the way it is. High moral values, typically conservative, just great people. And that's just the way they operate. And they have a website, but you can't buy anything off their website. It's just informational. And during COVID, they came up with these shows. And they do different shows for different scales. They have an N scale, they have an O scale shows as well. And they've got good business. When I first started watching them, if you had 25 people on, that was a good night. Now I'll have upwards of 100 or more. And as Joe says, you need fast fingers. So, but anyway, then they put your name on the item, and if you're a regular, you've got a box in the back room. They just stack all your stuff up there. When your bin gets filled, they call you up and say, "Okay, here's what you owe us. We'll ship it out." And in my case, I called because I hadn't heard from them in 6 months, and I was getting kind of afraid of how much I might have. And I mean, I had $70 worth is all, and normally I get up to over 200. So, well, last Friday I called them. The package arrived on Wednesday. Wednesday night I'm on the show, and I spent more money Wednesday night than what that whole box was worth. So, here nor there. All right. So, I think that is everything I got. Yeah, that was the smallest box I have ever had, Joe. So, anyway. Hey, Brad at Willow Creek Industrial Spur. Glad you can make it. And why don't I bring out that that consist, and let's take a gander at it. Now, the powered unit really needs its wheels cleaned. Ooh. All right. And I'm going to turn on the microphones that are on the layout. All right, Tim. Now, also keep in mind, these are Digitrack decoders. And for half the price of what the Tsunami 2s run, I think they sound pretty good. Now, I do not have a prototypical, I'm sorry, I got loud. Different microphones. Change the idea. So, it's a little loud, but adjust your volume. Yeah, the way I put that speaker into the dummy worked out really well. It's as if I created this chamber for the speaker, and you'll have to watch Workbench Wednesday. I don't know if it'll be done editing next Wednesday or Wednesday after. But it created a chamber which was like a bigger baffle. If the shoe fits. Look who decided to pop in. I'll get you out of the basement in a second, Jason. Am I stuck? I must be stuck. Let's just go the wrong way. All right. So, with that,
And I'm riding on the cotton belt railroad line in the pitching, rolling rhythm and noise.
hello, Jason.
What is up?
Colonel
Man,
Cottonbelt himself.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Man, only if I did not have the technical difficulties that I'm having today, I would have been on way sooner.
I was talking about all my technical difficulties on the project I've been having. As an example, I'm trying to make these dummy units, both an SW1500 and a VO1000, which have
Okay.
the same frame, same Athearn frames on them, so that they had sound, all right, and lighting.
You
No
said
motor.
an SW7.
No,
And,
well, yeah, it's SW,
okay.
all right,
And a
I can, and
VO1000?
VO1000.
They do not have nowhere near the same chassis.
The Athearn blue boxes do.
Well, Athearn did something totally wrong because that VO1000 is a whole lot longer than that S7, SW7 or SW9 or
That.
that might be a oh shoot, what's it called? It's a Baldwin D. Is it a DR44?
It's got a Baldwin. It's got a
Yeah.
Baldwin engine.
Hold on a second.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's not the point.
Okay.
It's not the point.
SW9
That's an SW, yeah.
VO1000.
Okay, what brand?
This is Walters Proto, and this one is Stewart.
Okay. This one is Athearn Blue Box.
Let me see the roof of it, or the top of the hood. Yeah, that's not a VO1000. That is that other model. It's like a DR. I think it's DR44 something.
BR449?
Yeah, like a 900 or 441000 or a 441500.
You're too young. You don't know Hee Haw.
Go.
BR449.
Because so the VO1000, that's what their exhaust looks like.
Yep. That's what the pictures look like that I have of mine too. But if you go pull up a Blue Box, Athearn Blue Box VO1000. Here, I can do it.
I'm surprised they didn't do one in Cotton Belt, because Cotton Belt had a whole bunch of VO1000s.
These were actually Southern Pacific.
SP had a lot of them too. I thought you were judging a koi thing this weekend.
As soon as I get off of this stream, the car is packed and ready to go.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going the wrong direction. You're supposed to go east, not south.
Well, I'm coming your way. Are you going to be home? That's the big question.
I'm actually meeting Robert at Bald Knob at 3 o'clock.
No. Memorial Day.
Oh, Memorial Day. Actually, I will be coming home on Memorial Day.
Okay. See, all I'm finding here is Stewart's.
Yeah, Stewart made the VO1000. Stewart, and then now Bowser. I've got a Bowser one too.
But even a Stewart has the same hood. They've got them in both the 4-stack and the one little exhaust that like I've got. But all that said, it's here nor there. This thing, this fits on an SW frame. Okay.
So this is my Bowser, or no, this is my Stewart. I haven't added the details on it yet. That's my Bowser.
Okay.
But I'm going to repaint this one.
Yeah, I've already repainted into the Burlington. The decals are arriving today.
Well, I'm going to have to get custom decals made. Because when the Cotton Belt received their first batch of VO1000s, they were actually Atlantic Coastline rejects. So instead of Baldwin repainting them, they just took Atlantic Coastline off and put St. Louis Southwestern. So their first batch of VO1000s were purple and silver.
Oh boy. Getting back to what the issues were, and the reason I felt like a dunce was, you pull the motor, I'm making a dummy, and you wire pickups and everything, put it on a wiring harness to a chip, standard, 9-pin, 10-pin, whatever it is.
Either 8 or 9 pin.
I think it's a 9 on the, I'll tell you here in a second.
8 pin would be in a 2x4 arrangement. 9 pin would be in a 1x9.
It's a 9-pin.
Okay.
And anyway, got it all wired up and everything. Speaker harness on it. It wasn't recognizable.
Okay.
and I got two of them going at the same time, so I'm trying different things out. Yeah, so I went to the Digitrax user group, and one of the guys said, well, it needs a motor load on it before it can be recognized on the programming track. And it's okay. So I did like what I'm doing to this one right now. All right, and wired in the motor. Wired in the motor.
Right.
The motor. And then it's recognizable. So you get the programming all done. Then you take the motor off and put a resistor in. All right, and you're good to go. But to program it, you got to have that motor in there. Even with no power going to the motor, it's still got to be there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I bet you it's the same on our soundtracks. Because
Never tried it.
As Andy described, it's got to recognize the backward EMF or whatever. Don't ask me what that is or what it means. I don't know, but it's got to have the motor load there to do that. So
That's very possible. George would know the answer to that, but Jason does not. So,
well, I know the answer to it now. It doesn't work without it.
yeah.
But the SW that I just got done running when you came in, all right, that one's done. All right, where I've done the same thing as I've done to this one to get it programmed. Now I got to take the motor off of this one that I have on the bench. Desolder the motor, solder in the resistor, and then I can start buttoning it up and getting it ready to go. So,
Gotcha.
anyway, that was been my trials and tribulations. So, with that, I gotta go. I mean, literally, my car.
No, that's fine. Like I said, I would have been on sooner if I could have got my microphone to work, rebooted the computer. Well, now the mic works, but now the camera is just black on OBS.
Home. What are you doing home?
So I took the day off because Robert's coming in.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then while I'm at the grocery store earlier, about an hour ago, he called me and says, yeah, I won't meet you at Bald Knob till 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm like, okay. So I could have worked half a day, but it's all right.
Well, I'm headed to Dallas. I got to go judge fishies tomorrow.
Now, you know what happens if you find a dead one?
It's
called
win.
No, it's called a decoy.
Decoy, yeah. He's been decoyed, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that on a post. Somebody sent that to me.
I think it was me that sent it to you.
It probably was. Anyway, why am I judgmental? It's just the way I am, Heath. Just the way I am. So, okay. Well, thanks for showing up.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
And everybody else, thanks for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad Friday Live and Mail Call. And y'all have a great day. Bye now.
Take care.